So, we talked about the different types of second order differential equations in the last class, and we talked about what kind of solutions you can have. Now, in this class I will be focusing on homogeneous second order ODEs and writing solutions in terms of basis functions. We already saw a bit of this in the last class, and what I will do today is actually formalize some of the things that you saw in the last class. So, let us get back to our homogeneous second order differential equation. So, I will write it in the following form. I will write y double prime plus a of x y prime plus b of x y equal to 0. So, this is our homogeneous second order differential equation, okay. And what you can see is that suppose you have this differential equation, and let me remind you that y prime equal to dy by dx and y double prime equal to d square y by dx square. Okay. So, suppose you have a differential equation like this, and let us say if y1 of x is a solution, okay, of differential equation. So, if y1 of x is a solution of this differential equation, okay, that means this implies that y1 double prime plus a y1 prime plus b y1 equal to 0, and I have suppressed the dependence on x. I have all these are functions of x, but I am not writing the explicit dependence on x. So, if y1 is a solution, then it must satisfy this, that is why it is a solution, okay. Then you can see that a constant times y1 of x is also a solution. Okay, that means I can multiply y1 by a constant and I will get another solution, okay, which is also a valid solution. And you can see this because so suppose I had c y1, okay. Now, c y1 the whole thing prime, the derivative of this is nothing but c times y1 prime, and you have c y1 double prime is nothing but c times y1 double prime, okay. So, now if I take this differential equation and instead of y1 I replace it by c times y1, then where I have y1 double prime I will have c times y1 double prime, where I have y1 prime I will have c times y1 prime, and where I have y1 I will have c times y1, okay. So, if I make this substitution, okay, then clearly c times y1 double prime plus a of x into c times y1 prime plus b of x into c times y1 equal to 0, or c y1 is a solution of differential equation. Okay. So, what that means is that if y1 is a solution, then any constant multiplied by y1 is also a solution. Okay. So, that means you can have many solutions with different constants. Okay. Now, next suppose y1 and y2 are solutions, that is so if both these are solutions, that means you will have y1 double prime plus a y1 prime plus b y1 equal to 0, and if y2 is a solution, so you have y2 double prime plus a y2 plus a y2 prime plus b y2 equal to 0. So, you have both these conditions. Now you can see that if I just add them, okay, then I will get y1 plus y2 double prime plus a times y1 plus y2 prime plus b times y1 plus y2 equal to 0, or in other words y1 plus y2 is also a solution. Okay. So basically if you have two functions y1 and y2 which are solutions of the differential equations of this homogeneous differential equation, you add them up, you will get another solution, and we already saw that if you multiply any of them by a constant you get another solution. So this leads us to the important idea that my solution, if I take C1 y1 plus C2 y2, okay, is this will also be a solution. Okay, of dE, that is provided y1 y2 are solutions. Okay. So what that means is that if I have one solution y1, if I have another solution y2, okay, then I can write a third solution which is a linear combination of these two. Okay. And in fact you can say that the general solution y of x can be written as a linear combination of y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x. So you can write a general solution as a linear combination of as these two solutions. So if you have two solutions, you can write a general solution as a linear combination, and this you notice has two arbitrary constants. Okay. So we already learnt that if you have a second order differential equation, the general solution will have two arbitrary constants. So if you know two solutions y1 and y2, you can write a general solution. Then what I mean by these two solutions do not have any arbitrary constants. So if y1 and y2 do not have any arbitrary constants, okay, then I can write a general solution as a linear combination of these, and I will have my two arbitrary constants. So the question is this valid for any y1 of x and y2 of x that solve dE. So that means can you use any two solutions and write the general solution as a linear combination of those two solutions? And the answer is no. So you can take any two solutions, you can take a linear combination, you will get a solution, okay, but in order for this solution to be a general solution, okay, in order to get a general solution, the important thing is that y1 and y2 should be linearly independent. Okay. So in order for y equal to C1 y1 plus C2 y2 to be a general solution of dE, and when I say a general solution of dE, what I imagine is that any other solution of the dE can be written by choosing C1 and C2. Okay. So you can write any other solution by choosing C1 and C2 appropriately. Okay. So in order for this to be a general solution of the differential equation, y1 of x and y2 of x should be linearly independent. Okay. Or in other words, y2 of x is not equal to some constant alpha times y1 of x. So y2 should not be proportional. So these two are functions, and two functions are linearly independent. If you cannot write one as a multiple of the other, then you say that they are linearly independent. Okay. So now these two solutions, so what we have right here is you have many possible solutions So, you can think of this as a vector space of solutions. Okay. And why are we using the vector space? Because you can add solutions, you can multiply them by a constant and you will still get a solution. So, the set of solutions will form a vector space, and y1 of x and y2 of x can be a basis for this solution. Basis for this vector space. Okay. So, so if they are linearly independent, if y1 and y2 are linearly independent, then they can be a basis for this space of solutions. Okay. So, this is a vector space of solutions of the differential equation. So, it is a vector space of functions which solve the differential equation. Okay. And this vector space of functions will have a basis of two functions which are also solutions of the differential equation, but which are linearly independent. Okay. So, just to show you again, we had the differential equation y double prime plus a times y prime plus b times y equal to 0, and this is a homogeneous linear second order differential equation, and I said a and b are functions of x. Okay, so they can be any functions, it is still a homogeneous linear second order differential equation, and this has a feature that if you know if you have two linearly independent solutions y1 of x and y2 of x, then you can write any solution as a linear combination of those two solutions. Okay. So, this is extremely nice because you see a connection between what we were talking in terms of basis vectors for a vector space and solutions of a differential equation. Okay. And remember, this is only valid for homogeneous equations. Okay. So, you can only do this if the equation is homogeneous. If the equation is not homogeneous, you cannot. Suppose y1 is a solution, there is no guarantee that y1 will be a solution. Okay. So, this is not true for any equation. So, for any arbitrary equation, you won't have that y1 is also a solution if y1 is a solution. Okay. This is only for homogeneous differential equation. Okay. Okay. So, now let us illustrate another interesting idea for homogeneous equations. Okay. So, sometimes we may find one solution. Okay. So, you have a differential equation, let me just write the differential equation. So, you may find one solution. So, our differential equation is y double prime plus a y prime plus b y equal to 0, and y1 is a solution. Okay. Now, the question is, can we find y2 which is a linearly independent solution? So, we want to find another solution. Okay, you want to find, so you have one solution. Okay, you want to find the second linearly independent solution, so that you can write any solution, a general solution, as a linear combination of these two solutions. Okay, and the answer is yes, you can find it. Okay, the method that you do is called variation of parameters. Okay, so what you say is, so you try y2 is equal to u, which is a function of x, times y1. So, remember, all these are functions of x. So, y2 is a function of x, u is a function of x, and y1 is also a function of x. Okay. So, sometimes I will not write the explicit dependent on x, but here I want to emphasize that u is a function of x. okay, just as y1 and y2 are also functions of x. So suppose you try a solution of this form, okay. So then what is y2 prime is u y1 prime plus u prime y1, y2 double prime, okay. So that is the second derivative of y2. Now again so that is the derivative of this quantity of the first derivative, okay. So if you take the derivative of the first term, you will get u y1 double prime plus u prime y1 prime, and then if you take the derivative of this second term, you will get plus u prime y1 prime plus u double prime y1. Okay, so you have these 4 terms, and you can see that these 2 terms are identical. Okay, so I can write this as u y1 prime double prime plus 2 u prime y1 prime plus u double prime y1. Okay, so all I did was I had y equal to u times y2 is u times y1, okay. Then y2 prime I write by the usual product rule, and y2 double prime also I write by the usual product rule. And now I substitute in the differential equation, because y2 has to be a solution of this differential equation. So when you substitute in the differential equation, what do you get? So so for y2 double prime I will put all these terms. So I will have u y1 double prime plus 2 u prime y1 prime plus u double prime y1 plus a times u y1 prime plus a times u prime y1 plus b times u y1 equal to 0. So since it has to satisfy the differential equation, since we want y2 to satisfy the differential equation, okay, we just substitute y2 into this equation, and you will come up with this equation. Okay. Now you look at these terms. I will just highlight them in blue. So I look at this term, and then I look at this term, and I look at this term. Okay, so if I look at each of these terms has a u, okay. So if I write the sum of these terms, I have u times y1 double prime plus a times y1 prime plus b times y1, okay, and you can immediately see that the term in the brackets has to be equal to 0. Okay, so therefore these 3 terms will add up to 0. Okay, and if you set these 3 terms to 0, then you are left with only the 3 remaining terms. Okay, so what are the 3 remaining terms? So you have 2 u prime y1 prime plus u double prime y1, okay, and you have plus a u prime y1 equal to 0. Okay, and what I see is that there is no u term in this. So there is no u term, so I can just write this as u double prime y1 is equal to minus of, now I will write it as a y1 plus 2 y1 prime into u prime. Okay. So what I can do is I can bring the u double prime to the left hand side, and what I will get is so I will say let capital U is equal to u prime. Okay, so I will just call it capital U, and the reason will become obvious, because now capital U prime equal to u double prime. Okay, so then you will get u prime, I will write this as u prime by u is equal to minus a y1 plus 2 y1 prime divided by y1. Okay, now you can immediately see where we are going with this. I do not want to do too much further. You have essentially separated u and x. Okay. So, remember y1 is a function of x that you know. Okay. So, we know the solution. So, y1 is a solution that we know, and from y1 we wanted to find y2. Okay. And what we did was we used a trial form of y2 is u times y1. Okay. And what we said is that when you substitute in this, then you get this relation. Okay. Now, you can immediately write this as if you integrate both sides. Okay. You will get the relation that looks like the following. So, integral of this is natural log of u is equal to minus integral a plus 2 y1 prime by y1 dx. A is a function of x, remember, a is a function of x. So, I just integrated both sides with respect to x and I got this. So, I just wrote these terms explicitly. Okay. But the point is that you know y1. Okay. So, you can calculate y1 prime and you can do this integral and you know a. Okay. So, essentially you can find out u. Okay. So, we can find out u, and then you from capital U you can find out small u, and from small u you can find out y2. Okay. So, I'll just write it. So, can solve for u. Okay. And from u you go to from capital U you go to small u, which is just integral of u dx. Okay. And then from u you can go to y2 is equal to u y1. So, what does this show? This shows that if you have one solution of the homogeneous differential equation, you can get to the second solution. Okay. So, what this shows is that the power of homogeneous equations is that even if you just have one solution, you can get to a second solution, and that second solution will be linearly independent because u is not a constant. Okay, u is some function of x. So, the second solution is by design it is linearly independent. Okay. And the second solution being linearly independent, you can write a general solution as a linear combination of y1 and y2. Okay. So, what this says is that all you have to do for a second order homogeneous differential equation is to find one solution, and then you can find the general solution of this second order homogeneous differential equation. Okay. So, in the next class I will discuss second order homogeneous differential equation with constant coefficients, and then I will tell what are the strategies when your second order differential equation is not homogeneous. Okay. So, I will stop here for today.